Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me here again. Sorry about cutting off the last video short. Um, I showed you the planing of the cherry with both my Stanley, number 4.5, made in approximately 1936, and the Bedrock made approximately 1910. And then I was getting into the beach when I was noticing some things that needed to be adjusted. So I made the adjustments, and so here we are. The blades have been just stropped to bring them back to a little bit of a keen edge because I had gone through all the planing on the beach. So this is American beach. This is not European beach. And it is air dried to the point where it's been in my shop for 7 years. There is a bit of a whirly grain here with a tear out. And one part is actually just popping out. I'm assuming that is where the medullary rays are coming out. So, as you can see, even in the hard beach, I'm getting nice shavings, and the surface is like glass. There is a little troublesome spot in here that it seems to be handling okay. We're talking about this troublesome spot here, which is horrible. Like I said, if I were making something out of this, I would cut it off right there. Other than that, it planed it perfectly fine. Now, there is, on the other side, this bark inclusion, whirly grain, pin knots that I did plane with both of these, but I'm not going to do it again. It's tough. It's really tough. I've got a little bit of a short blade stop there. Now, when I get into the other planes, wow, that's beautiful. I will plane that, to be fair. I think I've mentioned this before. When you're doing smoothing, sometimes it's like landing and taking off with an airplane. You come in, you make your cut, and you lift up, and that way there's no choppy starts and stops. So that's the Stanley, 1936 Stanley. If we go to the Bedrock, start out with little or no cut. So look at that, almost full width. This is where sometimes a tap of the hammer gives you better adjustment than the lateral. Yeah, that's just nasty wood down there. So this piece of beech is quarter sawn. So you're getting that medullary rays popping up. So here we got a little tear out. Skew the plane. Try it both ways. If it doesn't work one way, it may work better the other way. Alrighty then. That is almost gone. And that surface is glass smooth. Just a few more just to even it out. We'll call that done. So the key to getting these planes to work properly is a super sharp blade, somewhat of a camber. Yes, you lose cutting width, but I didn't lose all that much. Okay. You set your chip breaker tight enough to do the task, but not too tight for the shavings that you want to take. And then you move your frog forward and close the mouth just enough. This one is really tight. So it's going to perform just a little bit better than this one. This one's twice the opening of that one. But that's kind of the way I like to use them, unless I get into a real tricky spot like these tear outs. So there you go. Sorry I had to split up the videos, but you're getting the full content, and we're going to move on now to the next plane and the next plane and the next plane. And with those, we're only going to do one at a time until maybe a certain one starts to surface as to just being superior. Then I might resharpen this one, my Stanley, and we'll do a Stanley versus that, or maybe the Bedrock versus that. So these two planes handle identically. The big difference is the frog. With the Stanley, standard Stanley, the frog is not all just one solid surface. So the thin cutting irons vibrate somewhat, and they don't get dampened out. Whereas with the Bedrock, it's all one flat face. You notice, even though this has a thin blade, it was quieter, even though it is corrugated. Okay. As to weight, they're very close, about 0.2 of a pound difference. Price point wise, entry level Stanley type. I'm not sure if I'm at a 15 with this one, but a 15, a 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, even a 19. Entry level, you can get into it for about $100, then restore it. Okay. It is not fully restored yet. All right. And neither is David's. It needs full cleaning and restoration, maybe a little more flattening on the sole, and some just light fine tuning here and there. But if I were not demonstrating on some really peculiar woods, if I had just nice, clean, clear tulip poplar, both of these would just sing right through it. So like, subscribe, and share. Head out to your shop and go make some shavings. We're going to see how much we can take off of these boards. Walter out.